Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Consciously Thriving podcast.
Hi, welcome.
Same intro every day. Every time.
Yeah. You wish we filmed this every day. Imagine we had to film this every day. Do you think we could do it?
Yeah, we could.
We actually could. We talk that much shit.
We actually do. But we just realized we just need to stop talking to each other and start talking on the mic.
Seriously, guys, currently it's 12 o'clock. Nadia has been over since 8 a.m. We've just started our day now. And I'm actually a bit exhausted because we have not shut up this entire time.
And we have a bit to do today.
Got to get into it. This is our second cough.
Yeah, we've had 2 coffees. It's 12 o'clock. But one's a decaf. It doesn't count.
Don't say that.
Why?
It counts.
How does it count?
It counts.
No, it doesn't.
It feels like it does.
It does, mentally. But
yeah, I can't actually have 2 coffees. Like, I will fully get anxiety. Are we allowed to say anxiety anymore?
I don't know.
I'm like, ooh. I don't know if you guys have heard, this goes out to all my coaches. In the
coaches
industry.
or naturopaths even.
Naturopaths, any person in this space who's doing this work or helping people. Apparently, I have to have this confirmed, but if you live in Australia, apparently we can't use the words depression and anxiety anymore when like talking to clients and patients. I'm going to confirm that. I'll let you know next week. Yeah.
We'll see how we go.
Isn't that weird though?
A little bit.
Pisses me off.
Yeah. It's kind of like clinical certified people.
Yeah, so only like psychologists can use that word.
Yeah.
Which is just like, all right, trying to keep us into like the antidepressants and things like that.
Okay.
Annoying,
yeah,
right?
exactly right. It's like keep it, Anyways, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It did give you a little bit of a buzz, we'll say.
Gave me a little bit of a buzz. What are you talking about?
In terms of coffee. You said it gave you anxiety, and I'm like, we're going to use buzz instead.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
A bit of a rush and a bit of a buzz.
Yeah, it's like a placebo effect, the decaf. It makes me feel like I'm like waking up again.
Yeah.
I try to recreate that scene in the morning. You know when you have that coffee, that first sip of coffee? It's like my favorite moment.
Fair enough.
I savor that moment so much.
All right, are we going to stop talking
about coffee?
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting conversation.
It is.
What are we talking about today, Nads?
We want to be completely honest
about
the truth behind what it takes to go after your dream life, to make physical change, to change your reality, to go from feeling like you are not in control and feeling like life is happening to you, to completely just rolling with the punches of life. Not even the punches, but just rolling and being in control of your perspective and your reality.
Yeah, like what it actually takes to transform your life. If you want to start living in a different way, like this is what is going to be required from you. Now we're just going to, like, we don't have any points or anything. We're literally just going to be speaking off of our own experience because like, as you heard in last week's episode, if you've listened to it, that's exactly like the situation that we've put ourselves in, right? We've taken these quantum leaps to go full time in our passion-led businesses and we've been having to really keep ourselves accountable through that process.
Absolutely. And just kind of like, I guess this story is a little bit about, this episode's around our journey. Like, what were the things that we did to get to where we are today?
And are doing right now.
And are still doing and will always do for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started.
Where do we even start?
I feel like if I date back to like how at the beginning of our journey, like I know we always talk about self-awareness, meditation and stuff like that, but it really felt like making active change came from a place of self-awareness with my triggers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's where it all started, like realizing that I create my reality like through the law of attraction and all the other different things. That was consciously, I was aware of that. But once you really apply this to your life and start taking responsibility and analyzing the things that, are coming up in your reality that you don't want and start taking responsibility, I felt like that's where the shift started.
You're so right, because I had that as well. When it comes to taking responsibility, I feel like I was the type of person that would blame everything else on my experience. And it was that exact moment when I realized, I actually just wrote a post on this yesterday, so it's funny that it's coming up.
Oh, nice.
But when I realized that I was responsible for my perspective and how I actually handled situations, and that, like, you know, if I wanted to have a better experience, it started with me first. It started with actually shifting my mindset. Oh, the most powerful shift ever. Like, that's when my life really began to change.
Do you want to, let's get into some of our triggers.
Yeah.
That came up for us. Let's get real personal.
Yeah, even still come up for us.
Yeah, that still come up for us, of course.
Yeah.
But, like, this was the level of responsibility that I think some people, you know, you can consciously hear that, yeah, let's take responsibility for our lives. But you guys probably want to know, what do you mean by that? Like, give us some examples of, like, how you took responsibility.
Yeah, I love that idea. Okay, so what is a trigger? Let's talk about you first. I want to put you on the hot seat.
All right. So this is what we mean by, like, taking complete responsibility for your triggers. So something that, like, used to make me uncomfortable wasn't that I was like, what the fuck, like, that person. It made me uncomfortable when people...
No, you actually were like, what the fuck, that person.
Yeah, but, like, what the fuck in the way of, like...
Guys, Nadia moves fast. Like, once she, like, realizes something, I've never seen a person heal and transform at the speed that you do. It's like quantum speed. It's fucked, right?
Like, now I'm just like, what do I get triggered by? And I'm like, because I always seem to, like, quickly change that reality, right? And it's since I learned the universal laws, I'm telling you now.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie. We actually had to pause it and be like, wait, what are our triggers?
Yeah.
Because we're so self-aware now.
Yeah. But, like, I'll give you an example of some, like, a trigger that doesn't involve other people, because, like, I obviously want to keep that sort of stuff private, that, you know, haven't got consent to talk about them. But I used to get so triggered. I used to feel so uncomfortable when people would compliment themselves.
Yeah, right? This was me.
And Sheila used to compliment her, not even that much, but, like...
I wasn't, like, so embodied in it, but yeah, I used to compliment, like, myself. I used to be like, oh my God, I'm so smart like this, or I'm like, oh, I look pretty today, or something like that.
Yeah, and it's not that I disagree, because Sheila is beautiful. Of course I agree. She's very gorgeous.
Say it again. Whisper it too.
Yeah, like, she's a beautiful girl, but, like... And obviously, like, you think your friends are too, but it came in a way because I couldn't compliment myself. Yeah. But when you're not self-aware, you don't know that. You actually think the person's being, like, narcissistic or up themselves, or, you know, they're cocky, or, you know, they think they're the hottest person in the room, or whatever stories you make up.
One of the biggest things, like, for you, Nads, you were, like, just an outsider looking in. You were really, really, really self-conscious.
Yeah,
like,
so it comes from a deep wound.
Yeah, really self-conscious, and it's because of, like, the friendships you've had in the past, of like how like people treated you and all of that. So it came from that place, but. I remember, like, you were really, really, like, to the point, guys, like, this is not her anymore, but this was when I started to become, like, conscious, and I started to, like, you know, I was doing the self-awareness and all of the things, but you weren't spiritual yet. You were just, like, you were probably the worst you've ever been at this point. Yeah,
like, in terms of, being at a low. Being at a low.
Can't say that word.
Yeah.
No. I'm sure you can say that word, but maybe it's like in a coaching call type thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, she was at an all-time low in terms of mental health wise. So I remember, like, I would say, like, okay, I used to be, like, a skin therapist. So she would, like, come by to get, like skincare off of me, and I just run out of the shop and, like, go give it to her. And,
this is that one time.
Yeah, I'm just talking about that one time because this is, like, the most prevalent. And then I remember she's like, oh, babe, like, my skin. And I see, like, I used to see people, like, with really bad skin. Like, really, like, my heart would go out for them, right? And she was, like, complaining about, like, a couple of, like, breakouts on her chin.
I got off the pill. You know what? Talking about this, I actually feel sorry for that version of me.
No, I know. I know.
I know. And,
I'm not, like,
no, absolutely not. But
I'm just trying to...
I feel bad.
I just feel like people haven't seen you go from that to this. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I know, because we've been friends for so long, I've seen, like, that you know, the insecure version of you. She couldn't even take a photo, guys. Like, on a fucking vacation with her partner, she wouldn't even feel comfortable taking photos with him. Like, that's, like, next level. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, like...
Wait, I'm telling the fight.
Oh, yeah.
I have to, because it's so funny.
The skin.
Yeah, the skin. So she came, like, a couple of breakouts on her chin. She just got off the pill. Her hormones are balancing. And then she's like, she's like, look, Shula, she's like, I'm breaking out. Like, she kind of showed me. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, you're breaking out, something like that. I was like, oh, yeah. What did I say? I just said, oh, yeah.
I can't remember, babe. Like 4 years ago.
Okay, all I said was like, I think I
3.
said, oh, yeah, you are breaking out. I was like, oh, and then she got fully
offended,
messaged me, like she left, like she doesn't, confrontation's not okay.
Yeah.
So she's like, she looked at me, she greased me off, and then she's like, and then she she left really quickly. She's like, I've got to go. And then she messaged me this like real long, like, how dare you say that about me? I didn't say, like, all I said was like, oh,
laughable now, guys, but I was genuinely upset with what she had to say.
No, I had to full on apologize. I had to be like, I'm really sorry. Now I tell you, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, that's it. I wouldn't even be cut about that.
No, it was so funny though.
Yeah, but like that was a trigger. Like, so in my mind, it was like the world was against me. Like, Shula's making these comments about me, right? And it's not to say that you should accept like people saying things about you, but like when you look back and you take a deep
I wasn't sitting there going, your skin's fucking ugly.
No,
I was just like, oh yeah, you're breaking out a little bit.
It was like 3 pimples, but anyway.
It was 3 pimples and I was confused. Like what she was so self-conscious about.
Right, okay. So the what, you know, that might not look like such a deep wound, but that was coming from such a deep place. Like to get that...
The fact that you got that angry.
Yeah. And the fact that I used to get so uncomfortable with people complimenting themselves, like it would make me upset and like make me like, who do you think you are sort of thing? Like that came from a really deep wound, right? Yeah. So that's just a typical example of how I went from that to then being able to now observe when my body responds like that, or when I do get offended, and take a deeper look and go, is this me like making this bigger than what it is, or is it the person being rude? Yeah. I'm telling you now, 99% of the time you'll realize it's you. Yeah. It's you. It's coming. It honestly is. Like, and I'm not saying that there aren't rude people, because we've definitely had situations where there have been nasty things, and I think, you know, that's not acceptable. But like when you take that step back and go, you sit there, I would journal on it, I would analyze it, and I would be like, oh my God, this comes from a wound of feeling I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not good enough, or feeling really self-conscious. And what do you think? It had the opposite reverse effect as well. When people would compliment me, I would think they're lying.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Fuck, remember that? I remember I would feel so awkward giving Nadia compliments, because she would make me feel like I was lying, because she'd look at me like, you're lying. I remember that. That used to fucking trigger me as well, because I used to be like, oh my God, I don't want to say anything. And
not even that. Like, if you think about it, it made, like, I think about it, I'm like, it's kind of like I was taking words out of people's mouths. Yeah. And like making, like justifying for why they felt that way. It's like, actually, that's your own trigger, babe. Exactly. I do it with my partner as well. Yeah. Like, you just have to say that.
I do that with Dan as well, actually. Yeah. That's the only person I do it with, actually. Yeah. Everyone else I say thank you, but with Daniel, I'll do that. But I've picked myself up on that one.
Yeah. And it's just so funny because, like, I feel like with my partner, who's so beautiful, but like he always like gets up in the morning and he would be like, oh, I love what I'm wearing today, or I love what he's wearing. Like, you know what I mean? He does compliment himself. It's really, really nice. Yeah. But yeah, I just realized, I'm like, the minute I changed my reality, I stopped getting so angry at it. I'm like, oh, like, and I started like complimenting myself and things like that. And I realized like it's an act of self-love. But I also went in, you know, to the level of going into a program with Anna Gasol with Mystic Priestess Awakening, which is an amazing program if you want to work on self-love and connect more to your womb and, you know, heal all those sort of, you know, feminine
wounds that we have. Yeah.
Since going into that, I realized, I was like, it's really important for women to compliment themselves, to love themselves. If I'm not going to love myself on that level, who is?
Exactly right.
You know, so that's the deep level of self-awareness we go to. Like, whenever my body goes into that state of like, oh, there's a trigger. And that has been a really transformative part of my life as well.
No, I think so as well. And I like that you highlighted like when my body, like when you have an emotional response to something happening in your outer reality.
And it's not what you want. It's a negative.
Any sort of emotional response, you have a belief towards it. I teach this in multidimensional living, but anything that you have an emotional response to, anything that you have an opinion towards, you carry a belief to that thing. That could be positive or it could be negative.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to decide, is it positive or is it negative? So that we can think, okay, do I want to keep this in my belief bank? Do I want to continue to perpetuate this in my reality? Do I want this to be a part of who I am and what I experience? Or do I want to start shifting does this belief not serve me? Like that belief did not serve you.
Yeah. It's just about taking responsibility and being like, am
it's
I
about
creating
taking
this?
responsibility.
Yeah.
I remember when I first was waking up, and I think I've mentioned this before, but Leor Alexandra was like the person that triggered me a lot. But so did Abraham Hicks. I was listening to him as well at the start. But something kept drawing me to the content. Like I was like getting triggered by what they were saying, but I was getting pissed hearing what they were saying when they were saying it's your fault. Like, you have to make sure that you're like watching what you're saying, you're responsible. And I'm just like, what do you mean I'm fucking responsible for this shit life?
Yeah,
like that's literally what I would say.
I'm not responsible for other people's actions.
And I'd sit there and be like, I'm not responsible for what happened to me in childhood, blah, 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 blah. And while, yes, I'm not responsible for like the experiences, I'm responsible for my perspective.
Yeah.
I'm responsible with what I do right now. I'm responsible with how I go about the situations now,
Yeah.
Am I going to continue to sit here and be like, life is the worst, everything sucks, blah, 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 blah. Or am I going to choose to think a different way?
Yeah.
It's really that
Put
simple.
yourself in another person's perspective and go, maybe I did overanalyze that, or maybe I did react from a deeper way.
Yeah, no, this goes like so deep. Like the level of self-awareness that's needed to like analyze this. This has been like really just constant dedication to this work and this realm.
Yeah, let's share your deepest trigger. And I'm telling you, this was Shulei's
Do you
biggest
think
trigger.
this is my deepest trigger?
No, it's not your deepest. But I mean,
I'm actually having trouble thinking about what my triggers are because it's so long ago. But I guess one of my biggest triggers that still shows up to this day that I'm still trying to work on is this belief that people don't like me.
And it actually became my trigger from Shulei. Like I would
Really?
get it. Yeah, because I got annoyed with you. Like every time we
yeah.
would go somewhere,
Yeah.
anytime I introduced Shulei to someone, it was, I don't think they like me. And it's like, oh, geez.
You know what? I realized that when I was connecting to, we have friends and things like that. But the first thing we do have friends, I promise, guys, besides us two. No, whenever I met them and I talk to them now, they always say, I can't believe you thought I didn't like you. Every one of them says that. Even Daniel's friends now say that to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my fucking goodness. I keep perpetuating this story that I feel like people don't like me.
Yeah, and it just made me uncomfortable because, would go out and Shulei would be meeting people from our side, my side, and things like that. And it was just always I just felt it was I don't want to offend you. If someone does anything wrong, I would be worried. I'm like, don't say anything wrong. Smile. You know what I mean?
It was pretty, do you remember we actually went out to a party once and I made us go home because I was getting so triggered?
Yep.
Do you remember that? I was getting so triggered because we had people from our high school there and we had left high school at this point, but I experienced pretty bad bullying in high school. So I had this narrative in my head that everyone didn't like me. Yeah. Even these people hadn't even done anything to me, but I had created this narrative.
Associated them.
I just associated
and they weren't
them.
even friends with those people.
They were completely different
groups. Yeah.
Different group. But I associated everyone, and I legit felt so uncomfortable. I made Nadia take me home.
Yeah, from a friend's birthday.
And it was her friend's birthday. It's pretty bad.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. But I also look back and feel it's hard when you're not self-aware because you think the world's ending sort of thing. But if you want to transform your life and start making change, it gets to getting out of being a victim to everything.
Oh my God, this is such a good example. I forgot. Sorry, I was just thinking, I was like, how can I share this in another way where it actually shows where once you change your perspective, how your reality shifts,
what you
right?
said today?
No, I was thinking when I first got my job, my proper job after getting my degree, I went into a workplace and I ended up experiencing really bad bullying. Again, this is how cycles continue to perpetuate. I had bullying in high school, bullying in a workplace now, the same thing happening, right? This person was not a vibe.
Yeah.
And they were pretty bad to me to the point where another employee actually complained about it. I didn't even complain about it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty. But what was funny was I continued to stay there. I continued to allow myself to get treated like that. I continued to get to allow that person to treat me like that. And before I would go into work, I would sit there and I would be crying in the car because I didn't want to go in and all of that. But anyway, once I started to have my awakening, because I started to kind of have my awakening as like she was like there, and I started to shift my awareness, and I started to take responsibility, and I started to change my mindset, and then I started to have more respect for myself, and just through like tiny shifts, I'm not even talking big shifts yet, like just tiny perspective shifts with just being like, oh, like I get to think a different way, I get to practice gratitude every morning, like, you know, tiny shifts like that, my whole reality changed in that workplace. I kid you not, that person ended up having to leave. So they left straight away, and I was just like, wow, like
that's how quick your reality can change.
Yeah, and then another person had to leave. The whole dynamic of the workplace changed, and then the people that ended up coming in were very like loving and caring, and do you know what I mean?
And that's how strong your energy can be. That's how strong.
That was a simple decision, like just a simple like shift.
Yeah, and I teach this a lot. Like people think that like they're a victim to like the things that are coming up in their reality, but like when you start having shifts, like energetic shifts, like you might not realize, but like perspective shifts are energetic shifts. That's your energy changing, right? You're going from positive to negative. That's like negative energy can't survive too long around positive energy or like high vibrational energy, right? So that's why Shulei's reality started to shift, because her energy and frequency was there. So either she was going to leave or they were going to leave, and that just happened that they left, right? And guess what? The whole environment of your workplace got even 1,000 times better. New people started coming in. And that's how much control you have over your reality.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about today. The kind people. That's what I said.
Yeah. Talk about that as well. That's really nice.
No, I was telling Nads, I was like, there's this affirmation I've been working on maybe for about a year now, but I had this perspective that people were bad people. Like people were bad. People don't like look out for each other. Like this negative connotation with people. And I would experience it like in that I was, like I said, I was a skin therapist, and some of the clients that I would attract were really like low vibes. They were just not my type of people, right? Really vibrating at different frequencies. And I wanted to start to change the narrative, because even like through the people that I would attract through that job and the people that would come into my reality, I would look at it as like a reflection of me. I'd be like, okay, what's this representing in me? Because it's triggering an emotional response. So therefore I carry a meaning about this thing. And I realized, I have this belief going through my head that, you know, people are just shit, that people are negative and people, you know, so I was like, I want to change this. I want to start connecting to better people. So I started this affirmation, and honestly, now I feel like it's fully integrated. Even in that job, like all of my clients were beautiful. Like once I started to really affirm this, all of my clients were bloody incredible. I loved them so much, and it was consistently just seeing the same people over and over again, and I love them. And then when I left, even now in my reality, like if I go outside for a walk, if I go to like we were just at the supermarket, and this guy like starts to talk to us, like this old man, and he starts to talk to us and like, you know, just like having a laugh. Nice. Do you know what I mean? And I turned to Nadia, I was like, this happens to me all the time now.
Yeah, so that has been obviously, you know, taking responsibility for our triggers has been the number one thing that's helped us be able to shift our reality. But I feel like another really big thing is getting out of my head that I had to do this all on my own, and decided to invest in, you know, coaches and therapy and, you know, getting into programs that are going to help me quantum leap. Yeah. Because we can sit here and say all we want that, like, you know, like the reality is you are going to be able to have to do this on your own. You do not want to rely on people helping you. And like, this is why with my coaching, I only do 2-month, 3-month packages, because you want to be able to stand on your own 2 feet eventually. However, there comes a time where sometimes it's really beneficial to be able to quantum leap, or to be able to get started and to make change. You invest in getting support and help with that.
Yeah, investing is so important. And even just recently, I've realized that investing, like it has to be like a proper amount invested as well, because it's like a nervous system response. Like something happens when you hand over that sort of money, because you're just like, oh yeah, like I need to, like, I actually need to show up. Like, I know for me, the very first time I invested, I think it was like $4,000 in like a course, I was like, what the actual fuck? I was like having anxiety attacks over it. But when I did, like, you best believe that I showed the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I integrated everything that person was telling me to do. I feel like I've been talking about this recently, but for me, I was investing from a place of not having a strong intuitive like center. I feel like the person that you invest with, they have to always come back to you and in like strengthening your intuition with yourself. It can't be from a place of this is how to do it, like because I'm better than you. Not to say that I invested with anyone that really ever did that. I haven't really invested in anyone like that, but I've just seen it in the industry. But what was happening was I had a programming in my head where I would allow people to make my decisions for me. So I allow, like, automatically when I started to invest with coaches, I had this, like, I put them on like a pedestal and I was like, they're better than me. I have to listen to exactly what they're saying. And literally, like, this year, I've been telling this story, but like this year my higher self came to me and she's like, I'm telling you what to do now. Just listen to me. And she's been telling me to do this ever since the start, but I only listen now. So that's like, you have to really be making sure that you're listening to yourself, but also it is still important to be getting the support as you're going and connecting to community. Like, you can do this on your own. You really, really, really can, right? Anyone can do this on your own.
But do you want to quantum leap, and do you want to just get out of your ego and be like, maybe someone's going to activate codes within me that already exist.
Yeah.
But like, I'm kidding myself if I thought that, you know, at the very start I knew what I was doing and I knew how to get to where I am today. And I'll tell you, like, the first ever coach I had, and I look back to this day, he was really good. I worked with him for about, I'm going to say 2.5 months. You know, and I'm looking back now, he used to say to me, you work quick. He actually did.
Yeah, you really do.
Anyway, because I actually got out of my ego, even back then, I got out of my ego and go, he knows what he's saying, right? And he would ask the right questions. But never did he once say or make me think that he had something better than I had, or that, you know, it was very much, and this is how I coach today. I would never be like, this is how you have to do it. This is the right thing to do.
You've really been close to your intuition, even prior to being like consciously aware of this world. You were always really close to it. She would never like consult anyone before making a decision. She would just make the decisions, whereas I was complete different.
Yeah, right. And you want to work with someone who's going to activate your own intuition, who's going to guide you in a way that like just ignites the power that already exists within you, right? And gives you a newfound perspective. Like, that's what I loved in my coach, who was able to be like, but why don't you look at it from this perspective? Rather than being like, you know, when I'd go in and I'd complain and it'd be like, oh, you know, someone's done this to me or this and made me angry, you know, not sitting there and being like, hey, let's feed that even more. Like, what in it about you is like bothering you that much? Or how can you change your, you know, perspective on the situation, right? And to be honest, we think that we, you know, sometimes we just don't realize sometimes when we're in our ego. And that's why getting a coach or someone like investing in programs, they help you with that, because you realize how much you're in your ego when you get another perspective.
We're talking about this in multidimensional living now. We're really talking about the ego, and I get like them to do like intuition practices, and the ego is so sly. Like, it will do everything and anything to stay in control, to stay in the driver's seat, and it really takes the ultimate self-awareness. But that's what makes it really like powerful to start investing in yourself and investing in people who have done what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Because they're going to help you with going forward. And that's you can that's exactly like recently I've actually just invested 11.5 grand in a coach, and it's been the biggest investment I've made thus far. And I sat there and I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, sure, I can do this on my own. Of course I can, but how quickly do I want to do it? You know, I want to download these person's codes. I have a really strong intuitive voice now. I know that I'm always going to be acting from a place of like what is actually in alignment, and I'm no longer putting people on pedestals. So it's like, for me, it's like, you know, I choose to quantum leap.
Another big thing on top of, you know, investing and taking responsibility for our triggers has been around reprogramming work.
Reprogramming work and actually holding the reality, holding the vibration of the things that you want to call into your life, like showing up every single fucking day.
Yeah, because people, the issue with this is like when we start manifesting and wanting to make change, we're so programmed to want things so instantaneously and want it now that like the universe needs you to hold the vibration of what you are calling in or what the change that you're trying to make. So when we understood this to our core, and once we knew that like if I want this thing, I need to hold the vibration, right? You bet we committed every day to this work. We committed every day to healing the wounds of ourselves, healing the parts of us, but like defying logic, asking ourselves every day, reprogramming why the things that we want are, you know, apparently impossible to achieve, you know?
Yeah, no, we really stay accountable with our thought process, with our mindset every single day. Like we get up every morning, we get up like every night before we go to sleep. It's not something we waver on. And it's because this is what actually shifts you into calling in the reality that you want, into creating a different change. So like the subconscious mind creates 95% of our reality, right? Alpha agrees.
Yeah.
If you can hear my dog, he's just barking.
Big progress for you, babe.
What?
Allowing that.
Allowing it?
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Flow.
I love that, Shulz. See? Action changing.
Change. So the 95%, so 95% of our reality is created by our subconscious mind, our subconscious programming, and 5% is by our conscious mind. So the conscious mind is the mind that we're using right now. We're consciously in this conversation. The subconscious mind is our habitual mind. It's the things we do on habit, the things that we don't even think about. So we need to start being aware of our habits, of the things that we naturally think about, and we do that through being self-aware, through taking responsibility over our triggers. Coaches, programs can help you skyrocket that as well. So you become aware of the stories that you're telling yourself, take responsibility for them by actively reprogramming them every single day. And this doesn't take, like, this isn't overnight. This is something that takes time. It's like you have to, it's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
It's literally like going to the gym. Before you actually start seeing results in like losing weight or like your body or muscle mass or whatever, it takes time. It takes you showing up every day. It takes you doing the things. And then you start to see the results. Like this isn't any different.
Yeah, no, a lot of people go, you know, I've been doing, you know, affirmations for 5 days. I've been doing them for 6 days. I've been doing them for 2 weeks. And they go,
well done, babe.
Well done. You're going to commit the rest of your life to doing this work.
Literally.
Yeah, it's like when people learn about, you know, different... And this is another thing, right? Ask yourself, you know when you go see a motivational speaker and you're feeling the vibration, you feel good, you last, you know, and then it lasts for a week. Do you still want to be one of those people that do that? Probably not. You want to change.
Yeah.
So if you want that change, you have to be able to commit to doing this every single day. This is now your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is your life. That's exactly right. And it is something that is going to require you to just continuously show up, to continuously
Oh, wow.
to continuously go to the shadows, right? Go to that shadow aspect of yourself and start to see where the beliefs are coming from, witness what's there, feel everything while choosing to hold a different reality. I can't tell you how important this is, like the embodiment of the reality of the things that you want to come into your life. And it really just, it's the repetition. That's all it is.
It's the repetition.
Yeah, like what it keeps you from the person that maybe has what you want. Like the difference is they continue to affirm that they deserve that thing. They continue to go after that thing. They did it through their actions. They did it through their mindset. Like it is so, so, so powerful. With that repetition changes everything.
Yeah. And like, I'm telling you, like, I feel like I have officially retired from failing. Oh, not failing, the giving up person. I used to always be like, I'm going after this thing, and I would give up.
Would you?
Yeah, I did. I actually was that person. There's so many things that I've wanted to do. Yeah.
Give me examples.
Oh, God. just small things. Like it wasn't that I was lazy. I would just let the reality of life get in the way. There's so many things that I can't even think of on the top of my head. But I feel like I've officially retired from that version of myself who just always gave up.
Yeah.
Right? And that's because I understood that this was a lifestyle change. It wasn't like I'm going to be motivated for 5 minutes. Yeah. You want to make change. You want to become more positive. You want to be happier. You want to be confident. You don't want to be a victim to your life. Start embodying this work every day.
And that's literally what we've done, like leaving our jobs, going full time in this, just unwavering self-trust and faith. And that's just the most important thing. Isn't it?
No, you are not wrong. It's the most important thing to do.
Showing up every single day. I highly recommend even doing the practices in the morning at night. If you're the type of person that's like, I don't have time to do that, then
you need it. Yeah.
You need to do it more than anybody else.
Yeah,
I always say that because you can make time. This is like literally the foundation like for your life. Like not only is the action change, like how you're responding throughout the day, the actions that you're taking, because that's putting out that action to the universe, and that is really important, the physical action, but so is like the vibrational change. And as Nadia mentioned earlier on in the episode, that is through perception, right?
Yeah.
We can change through our beliefs. Our beliefs carry emotions. We have emotions attached to them. We shift that. We shift our reality because everything is vibrating on this plane. Everything is energy in motion. So we shift that. We shift what we experience. And sometimes, like I've said it before, sometimes it's instantaneous.
Absolutely. Like sometimes things will just shift. You'll realize, like I want you guys, like if you're here, I want you to commit to 1 month, honor yourself for 1 month to be like, I'm going to like show up and do this work every day.
Yeah.
Just do that. If you're feeling like you're wavering with doubt and all that sort of stuff, hold the faith for 1 month, commit to that. Do this work and just see the tiny shifts that start to happen.
Yeah, see your life change. Honestly, it's honestly almost instantaneous. Like we have been trying this new like subconscious reprogramming method, which we're like feeding our mind right before we go to sleep. We've created a recording of ourselves, and honestly, like I've already seen shifts in my reality, and it's only been a couple of days, which I've never seen anything like that work before. It's been crazy.
It's honestly so powerful.
The more stronger the belief as well, just keep in mind it's going to take a little bit longer. Some things are really easy to shift and some things are going to take a while.
You have to understand that like some of the beliefs that you hold and some of the experiences that you have, like they've taken time to manifest to what they are to now for you to fully embody believing that, right? If you think about if you have some money subconscious beliefs that money's scarce and that sort of stuff, like it's taken you years to form that belief through exposure and constantly being told. So trying to rechange that belief and like reprogram that belief is going to take a bit of time. That's why you can't give up on this stuff after a week or so. It really does require your consistency, and it's guaranteed a result if you continue to show up. Seriously, guaranteed a result. So another thing that I wanted to mention, I feel like this could be the final thing in terms of what is needed from you in order to start manifesting and experiencing your fucking dream life. It is letting go of expectation. That is a big one. That is one that like we're still learning. The amount, like humans attach expectation to everything. Absolutely we do.
I feel like expectation is attachment.
Yeah, like when we mean like attachment, it's like making meaning to absolutely everything. Like, if this doesn't happen to me, or if I don't manifest this, or I don't have this, or like I don't, then you're like, well, this means that. Stop having any meaning to anything and stop making things about you.
Exactly. And making everything mean things about us. Even the good things.
Yeah, because the ego is I. That's all it wants. It's just how, like even if you think about like going after your dream life, like what do I want? How often do we think about, well, what am I here to do? How am I meant to serve people? That's what the ego loves to do. So getting out of making meaning to everything and getting out of making things about you.
Yeah, exactly right. Just allowing things to be as they are. When people say I'm manifesting this or something better, really think about or something better. Like, are you really like letting go of the thing that you're calling in and allowing that something better to come in? Because it could be completely different.
Could be.
And usually it is.
Yeah.
Usually the universe knows exactly like what it's doing and what to bring you.
Yeah.
But I've really, really realized that. I was just like, fuck, like with every like new change that I make, it's like automatically I hold on to an expectation of exactly what it needs to look like.
Yeah. And how often do you like get the thing that you wanted, but it came in a way so differently?
Oh,
like
so
you manifest
differently.
money, then your grandma will give you like $100. Like you just don't know how it's coming in. That's no different to like the really big things that you want to call in your life.
Oh, all of it. Exactly right. Yeah. It's so important to let go of that, like the how and the when, but to another level, like with everything. And it really like goes back to the way that I have tried to embody this in my own life is through going back to like the inner child. So if you go back to that version of us, and I'm talking not like the trauma infused inner child that the spiritual community tends to feed a lot. I'm talking about like, and like no doubt some of us have experienced, like I've experienced hella trauma when I was a child, right? Yeah. We all have in our own way, but I'm talking like the real essence of the inner child, what it means to go back to the inner child. Because when I think about the inner child, I actually had Daniela on the podcast and she spoke about this and it was a really, really powerful point. But if you actually look at what the inner child is and who the inner child is, it's that version of you before that external influence came in. It's that version of you that was just in pure presence. It didn't know what was tomorrow. It didn't know what was the next day. It wasn't concerned with the future. It was concerned with now. It believed, you believe in yourself. You go out, you make friends, just everything's magical. Every new experience, you're like indulging in like the small things. Then the big things are great as well. Like there's just no expectation. You are fully living in presence and flow, and you are rolling with the punches, like both the ups and the downs. And that is what it means to be, like that's who we are meant to be here. When you embody that, like that is when you start to call in the big things. That is when things start to just happen. That is when you fully let go and you've like surrendered. But I truly believe that this is just, you learn this through doing. You learn this through the action. Like the more that you do, the more that you hold on and the more that you get disappointed, you kind of just learn to detach that way.
Just learn to stop caring.
You just learn to stop caring because you're like, I can't continue going this way. So it really comes through the action as well.
Yeah. Agreed.
Anyway, I think we're going to leave it here because Nadia looks like she's going to fall asleep.
No.
No, I'm joking. We just have spent the whole morning talking. So
Dead set.
Need a bit of a reset. Hopefully that this was helpful for you guys. And just know we're doing this with you. This really takes your commitment. It really takes you fucking showing up every single day. But like I said, you're guaranteed a result if you do.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Alrighty, we'll see you in the next one, guys.
See ya! If you loved today's episode, please do not forget to rate and review in iTunes or Spotify.
If you would love to connect with us on a more intimate platform, you can find us both on Instagram at Shule Ozek and at Nadia Gali. We would love to connect with you.
Thanks for listening.